Councilmember Tony?
No.
Councilmember Tony?
Here.
Okay.
Agenda.
One question, do we need to change that?
That's already. So, resolution. And you have the update.
Make a motion to accept the agenda and grade.
Everybody, second, all in favor? Aye. And on the public that has anything on the agenda that they'd like to come up and speak, please come up to the podium, give us your name and address and speak your piece. City of Montana. Offer, we have not received or any offers from provided with it. We're receiving contracts with for sales tax, so to speak. Public comment.
People one north on the state road. I came down here to, just, see if I was going to have the agenda for March or April, you give a presentation to the council regarding, my project on my property. But before I do that, I'd like to say, I've talked to so many people who are, especially who grew up in Lee, that are heartbroken about the totem pole incident. Okay? And, I just got off the phone, earlier, the general manager at the fairgrounds for having their Jefferson, expo coming up April 11th and 12th, where they have their annual chainsaw competition. Those chainsaw guys are amazing, and I suggested that they get 2 or 3 of the guys to work and collaborate and make part of a new statue, that look like the old statue, maybe have something from wood rock, being as old as it was. He thought it was a great idea. He's going to present that to the chainsaw competitors, and maybe a word from anybody on the council or the city manager would be helpful in planning out. I'm not sure how much the insurance money could go to buy a new log or a pole carved, but you may have some help with the chainsaw competitors. That's coming up in 2 months, and then I don't know how do I get on the agenda for either March or April to make my presentation in the PowerPoint about my proposals for my property during the week, which could bring lots of tourism, city tax base. But love to have your input and a project we can all work on together. You decide it.
For the agenda, we would be to submit the documentation request that you see purchasing that.
Okay.
There should be more about that. If we for the research on the reduction of solar
There's
carbon.
a heartbreaker about the totem pole.
It would actually computers. I would also advise that would replace maybe and with manager raise.
The mayor,
You know, are we going to get insurance money or own pole or anything about that? So, yeah, a couple of months before the change, how that is. It'd be a fun project to watch it. Carbon live and put it back. Now, the Alcan Highway. The important landmark would be great. Thank you for your work.
Mr. Mayor, Can you hear me? Forgive me, we cannot hear very well at the moment, so if I can't hear you, I'm sorry. I just wanted to let you know that Jimmy and I did speak, and I asked him to come up with a proposal, present to council to see if y'all would be interested in his proposal.
January, February, March. All in April, we get back in there. Not really, any other than that, it's going forward. Was really fun to have a house. Hopefully, it works out for us.
And then we're done.
We have no recorded time other than yes, the 30 days for you. First, people to 2 minutes, they.
Okay.
One business I had for the city was the Collier Center. Up in the border, president of our organization up there is here today for a presentation. And you guys can, and part of this effort. Later, when inquire about funding from the city, we run JPA. Both all that. We can go into the fundraising. So, nothing sure. All the funding comes from town. Funding comes from every city that is willing to participate. City leaders participate almost every year. It's really kind of. And it was a little bit wild, different this year. So, in March for the Collier Center. Every point. All this presentation. Way to the ground. Can you hear us back there?
Have hearing aids on, so I'm not sure of everything, but,
Okay.
Well, myself, and several council members, who got members, and we did it all the way to meeting. Well, it is like meeting January. So it's a good reputation. We got a lot of conversation before, but the reputation of what we have going on for the night. So thank you to staff for hard work and giving me confidence to brag about. I would like to congratulate our city manager, but all on, you can drop it. Awesome. But very well there. There's a lot of work to be done. Have a lot of positive things, you know, people have said about the sort of ball. In my entire life here. So, but we have a lot of positive things happening here coming up. I also want to remind people about the kind of options on March 21st. Started with the fun event they do and have a night out to dinner for business. And that is my report. I will move on to presentation. Really the but the Collier Division Center. What reviews for introduction and your presentation?
two right there.
couple slides that I'd like to present to you as well. First of all, I think it's really. Valley North area, Chesapeake County as a whole. I graduated from the high school in 1968, college of history in 1970. We long for short, got back home. Anyway, I am the president of the elected board president of Collier Information Center, and I do have some slides, and I don't know if okay. Let me give you just a little bit of background, if you could. Recognize or understand what's in our county. We have in Siskiyou County, we have a rest area that is very unique. It was named after Senator Randolph Collier, who was born in 1902 over in Etna, Siskiyou County. He died in 1983, I believe, down in Sacramento. But he was essentially the father of the freeway system in California. The senator for a long time, California State Senator for a long time, and this rest area, when the interstate came into effect. It was pretty much Senator Randolph Collier that was instrumental in finding the dollars and inside rest area platform. This particular rest area, if you've never been to it, I challenge you to see what Caltrans does to that rest area. It is a phenomenal area right along the Klamath River, where Interstate 5 goes up and over the top of Klamath River, just on the left-hand side between the freeway and the river. It's all the Collier Interpretive and Information. Well, it's the Collier Rest Area, but for many people, many travelers, this is their first stop and their first impression of Siskiyou County. And for many, it's a planned stopping point on a long road trip. People are coming from Canada down to the snowbirds are coming down all the way through to go to Arizona, Nevada, Southern California. But it's a predestined stop for a lot of people just because of the facility that's there. The information itself allows us as volunteers to turn a routine rest stop into a meaningful welcome because of our friendly staff and our volunteers. The thing that is important here is that in 1993, we established the Collier Interpretive and Information Center. Caltrans was in the process of downsizing all of their rest areas in California.
Rennie, when you want him to move the slide, could you just please say next slide?
No, it's okay.
Well, he wants to advance it for you, so if you just say next slide, he can hear you.
Okay, he can leave it right there.
Okay, thank you, sorry about that.
That's okay. The point is, in 1993, Caltrans was in the process of reducing the number of rest areas in California. Right now, there's 87 of them, but they became a costly maintenance issue for Caltrans, and so they were trying to commercialize the rest areas in California. They contracted with vendors to put vending machines and quick stop restaurants, gas stations, that kind of thing. And when this one was approached to essentially be sold to a commercial entity, there were gas stations that were interested in
putting a gas station right there at the Collier Rest area, putting a quick stop market in there, and essentially commercializing that whole area. There was a fella, was a forest supervisor in Siskiyou County, Bob Rice, and a retired UC Berkeley librarian who lived in Fort Jones. Both of them objected to the fact that California was going to essentially commercialize the site. So they went around to all of the communities in Siskiyou County, Weed being one of them, Doris being one, Tulu Lake, Etna, Fort Jones, Dunsmuir, Mount Shasta, Weed. And they created an interest in saving this unique little spot in Siskiyou County. They created a joint powers authority, of which the city of Weed signed on with it, city of Doris, same thing. And the county of Siskiyou. So we all, as a community, as a Siskiyou County community, we all kind of bought into saving this piece of property. So in 1993, because Bob Rice was a retired forest supervisor, a federal employee, he loved Siskiyou County. He was a kind of person that if he found a project, he not only championed that project, but he also finished that project. And he had somebody design the building. He worked with Caltrans at the state level and in Reading at the regional level. Long story short, we got it done, and it became a joint powers authority. At that time, they didn't ask for they asked for financial support if you could, as a Siskiyou County community, but they didn't mandate that. So in theory, what was going to support this little visitor center, we were going to sell advertisement to Wildlife Safari and Disneyland and any place in between that wanted to advertise their business entities at this site. That was going to be our revenue source. They figured $15,000 to $20,000 in advertising costs coming in on an annual basis would essentially support that facility. We have operated it 24 hours, not 24, it's there 24 hours a day. We have volunteers that work there. They're usually paid their compensation for their mileage. But for the most part, we have one employee that up until the end of January, just last month, 2 weeks ago, she was our only paid employee. We're looking for funds to answer Kenny's question there. I don't know if the city of Weed can help support the Collier Rest area, but we are advertising as much for you as we are everybody else in the county. So give you a little background here. In 1993, when we first opened our doors to the public, the safety roadside rest area alone was estimated at about 700,000 vehicles a year. In California, those 87 sites scattered throughout California, the Caltrans data shows that there was 100 million people per year using these rest areas in California. Like I said, there's 87 of them. Last year, Collier Rest area, the Collier Interpretive Information Center, with limited hours, and we're coming off of COVID and everything else in front of us. We recorded 6,063 visitors into the center. So if you want to change that slide and go to the next slide, that's fine. It's been closed for 7 weeks this last year, but regardless of that, we keep a track. When people walk in the door, we ask them to sign our guest book. We socialize with them, we visit with them, we ask them where they're going. Most of them are driving through Siskiyou County, but for the most part, our main objective is to keep those people in Siskiyou County for a day anyway, so that they could spend some of their dollars, their traveling dollars in Siskiyou County. These numbers help put a value on the site into perspective, and while the facility itself is small, the exposure is significant. Even with modest engagement, meaning from us as volunteers, just a fraction of the travelers choosing to visit a small town like Weed or Mount Shasta, Dunsmuir, McLeod, to stay overnight or to attend an event, there's a meaningful economic and community impact that's spread across the county. Now, like I said, if you look at that slide there, our focus, our initial funding source was brochures and advertising. And what, if you look at, this is the inside of our little kiosk. It's right next to the restroom, so people have to go to the restroom and come out, they're waiting for somebody else. They come in and visit, but the particular wall has brochures from all of the communities in Siskiyou County, some from outside the area, like it's broke down in California and Oregon. But it's, that was our main source of, is our main source of funding. So one of the most important functions of the visitor center is to help travelers decide what's next. And we constantly connect them with local businesses, lodges, lodging, dining, recreation events throughout and also through their printed brochures and promotional advertising. And like I said, we survive on advertising. But we're sending people who are Interstate 5 travelers. They're going from Portland to Sacramento or beyond. And they're limited to that I-5 corridor, but what we're doing is we're actually sending them to Happy Camp. They're stopping there, they're getting on Highway 96 and going to Happy Camp or going to the coast to the Crescent City area. But because we regularly send these people, it could be the High-Low Motel and restaurant. It could be any other commercial vendor, business in Siskiyou County. We've given them tokens when they come in and sign the book. We give them a token that allows them a certain discount on a cup of coffee or something like that at the High-Low Cafe. It's that kind of interaction that we go through. So my point here is what we're seeing is that our advertising dollars are dropping, and that just means that people either don't see a value in us or they don't recognize the value that we have for their business. Many people have taken advantage of it, and this slide there is showing an outside display. So if we're not inside the building talking to them and showing them, then there's large outside displays that advertisers can advertise with. So the Collier Interpretive Center plays a quiet but a significant role in supporting the county as a whole. It drives tourism by directing visitors to towns, parks, trails, natural attractions. It supports local economies through referrals that lead to overnight stays, meals, and retail spending. It also serves a public safety role by sharing wildfire, weather, travel information, highway safety stuff, and it builds a community awareness around our history, the natural resources, the recreation, and agriculture. And if you think that this doesn't matter to your community, then the answer is pretty simple, and that's simply that the center represents your community, even if that traveler doesn't drive into the town of Weed or not. We represent through our brochures and through the people that we have, our docents essentially. We're speaking primarily as Siskiyou County residents and informing these people of what we have here. So this is really a shared regional opportunity. The Joint Powers Authority represents federal, state, local, and community partnerships. The visitor center serves travelers headed across Siskiyou County and beyond. And for many, like I said earlier, this is their first and sometimes their only point of contact in Siskiyou County. And because of that, it expands the visibility of local programs, destinations, services, helps reflect the full diversity of our county. The strongest results come through collaboration, and I guess that's why I'm here to simply keep you guys informed that this is an asset for your small community. The outlay is very little. We've had volunteers from the weed community. Ken has spent time up there at the community or at the visitor center. My wife has been there from Doris. We've had people from Tule Lake drive over, representing the city council, come over and see what we have to offer. It is a positive experience. With that, I'm going to close, but I just want you to know that it is it's there for you guys to utilize. That's my name. I'm the current board president. I'm here to answer any questions if you have any, but I'm not asking for dollars, and it's hard to put a dollar value coming back into the community, because once we suggest that they stop at the High-Low for a cup of coffee and a piece of pie or a dinner or a lunch or whatever, it's hard to track those dollars, but it's an investment on the community itself. It's an investment for your business people as well. So with that, any questions?
So do you have donations too?
Yeah, we, one of the things, Mark, one of the things that, is kind of unique about this is the Caltrans, in their infinite wisdom, they have contracts with, contractors that service these rest areas throughout California. There's a contractor that literally has, and I think it's a disabilities type of contractor, but they have wrapped all of the commercial stuff up so that we can't sell anything. The only thing we can ask for are donations. We have a little envelope there. We have, we've got books for sale. If they want to buy a book, it's usually a Siskiyou County book. We just put in a little coffee machine and asked for $1 donation just to put it in there. But we do have, to answer your question, yes, we do accept donations. We are 501c3 as a JPA and everything, so it's a tax write-off. It's.
Well, one last thing for me is I've been there, we'll stop on our way back and grab a sandwich in Oregon and stop in there and eat. But it's a beautiful restaurant. If you haven't been through there, a lot of it, it's not a normal spot. So I support it 100%. If there's anything I can personally do, then jump aboard on that. But it's a great restaurant. You really have to stop in there because it's kind of like on your route, you stop in and so.
Yeah, we hear it all the time. I heard just from one of the Caltrans supervisors in Reading. I called him on the phone the other day on another issue, and I told him who I was, who I represented. And he said, that's the #1 rest area in California. I know exactly where you're talking about.
Absolutely.
And so it's got a name for itself. One of those pictures showed a California Welcome Center sign. We tried to get into the California Welcome Center platform, and it cost us $5,000 a year to be a part of that. And when we can't even commercialize a little bit of it, when we're only asking for donations, we had to back out of the California Welcome Center thing. Couldn't attend their conventions and their big parties. And so for the most part, they left the sign there. It's ours to keep, I guess, or Caltrans to keep. But we are not an official California Welcome Center. We are a visitor center representing Siskiyou County.
Do a good job.
Yeah. So, anyway, thank you.
So I have a question. You had mentioned that you're not able to utilize, so you're no longer able to sell advertising then?
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to,
So you had mentioned you weren't able to commercialize because of the contracts with Caltrans.
Yeah.
Are you still able to sell advertising?
we can still advertise. Yes, if that was the question I'm trying.
Yeah, that was the question. So my question is, have you reached out to different chambers of commerce to see if any of their business partners be interested in advertising in December?
We have, but be honest with you, we are delinquent in that. Because it takes a volunteer effort to go out and sell that program to those chambers and whatnot. It's the effort has been made. The return is not that good. And whether it's worth it for us to keep doing it, you gotta knock on doors.
Right.
It's a good suggestion and you guys, 2 weeks ago, I met with board supervisors. You guys are my second presentation. I've got Etna, Mount Shasta, Dunsmuir, and Wairika scheduled here in the next couple of weeks. But the chambers, the Lola, League of Cities, all of that is, we just need to share with those people that have an entrepreneurial mind to them. That say, this is something that not only supports my business, but supports my community and supports the county that I live in. So, Ken, you wanna add?
Yeah, with. Technically, what happens with the Collier Center is we have a limited ability to generate funds. Period. We have made suggestions to Caltrans to allow us to find a source of funds. How to use the property to generate funds. They have gone on deaf ears and never really answered because. They don't want it there, they don't want us to generate funds. Why, beyond me, I guess it's kind of consistent around a lot of restaurants. Is that they don't want to interfere with cities' own commercial activity. Second thing that's happening is that advertising. If you look at most people when they start looking for places to go and things to do. Phone has taken a lot of the impact away. I'm old generation, I still like to open up a brochure. And I look at younger generations and including like my son, when he goes, he's on his phone and he's manipulating. I can't even feel my fingers anymore, so I'm getting 17 things at one time, so. It's a different approach to how you get your advertising, how you get your information. So bottom line is that. Kind of like all chambers of commerce, everything we do is really hard to measure. On a count. But the offshoot is that it does impact everybody. As they pass through here, they know the city of Lee is here. You may not hit them on the first time going down, you might hit them on the back. But again, we need funding to have an employee. We use all volunteers. Volunteers, if anybody's been in the volunteer business, has waned considerably. People are busy having 2 or 3 jobs anymore. So it's really harder to get people to volunteer.
Yeah.
And
We are paying we're paying the utility bill, paying the securities, we're paying taxes, that kind of stuff to make this thing work, and we're staying up with it. But we do need a source of revenue that I went to the county, like I said, a couple of weeks ago at their meeting. Supervisor Valenzuela asked me what it would take to sustain Collier Interpretive Center on an annual basis. And I honestly don't know, I'm not a numbers person, I'm not a financial person like Joe.
60 grand.
But the bottom line is, he asked me, he says, I'm just looking for a figure, talking $50,000, $60,000, what are you asking for? And I said, I'm not really asking, I'm gonna tell you that $50,000 a year would, in my opinion, would be more than enough, as long as we can keep somebody actively in there, actively soliciting funds from our advertisers. Marketing this thing, it is a jewel there. Fish and Wildlife Service, Lavabed National Monument. They bought into it all the way from the start. They're still putting brochures in there. Anyway, long story short, if you have the means to put some money towards the Collier Interpretive Center, I'm gonna be making the same plea to the other communities, although we are not here to ask for dollars. We're here to kind of tell you how much of a jewel this is. And if there are discretionary dollars that you can move that way that are focused towards your Chamber of Commerce or your promotional, in promoting the community, we can take those and spread them worldwide. I mean, these are worldwide travelers that are coming through. I've met people from Tibet, France, Italy. I had a track team the other day, when I was up there, the track team from Eugene, Springfield, they were heading down to Reno for a track meet, and I got all the kids in there to sign the guest book. And anyway, it's a good thing if you can internally, if you can find it, and Joe can find a budgeted item that can put it towards the Collier Rest area, it would be well spent. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So because of our technical setups, I didn't send this out of the alternate boxes, so if you want to review it this weekend, it'll be.
All right, now we'll move on to our consent agenda. Item A, Public Works by motion, council will consider adoption of resolution number 04, 2026. Approving the application for CDBG grant funding, Bulls Creek Stormwater Project. Item B, Fire by motion, council will consider adopting resolution number 05, 2026. Approving contract for special services between the city of Weed, the Shasta Valley Resource Conservation District. Item C, Public Safety. Consider adopting resolution number 06, 2026, approving the 2026 Weed Police Department's military equipment use policy report. Item D, City Clerk by motion, council will consider approval of the January 8th, 2026 regular meeting minutes. Item E by motion, council will consider approving payment warrants dated January 8th of 2026 through February 4th of 2026. Including any void warrants and manual issued items totaling $1,328,704.31. And item F by motion, council will consider approval and filing of the end of month report for January of 2026. Council members, any questions or items to be removed? Set.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as written.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries by unanimous consent. So if there are no items to move, we'll now move on to council business. Item A, administration by motion, council will consider resolution number 07, 2026. Accepting the surrender of parcels of real property. Get off the APNs, but they are on here for public record. And let's turn over to staff to introduce you.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, thank you. And hello, Honorable City Council. Yes, staff. Good to see y'all again. I'm considering this a huge victory lap. I first want to thank the Serviam by Right. They are on the phone with me if you have any questions. Nicholas and Curtis have been, and the staff have been wonderful to work with. I want to thank Mr. Mayor Pro Tem Palfini. The idea that kind of spurred this entire motion and Mr. Juarez, I want to thank him for signing it over, Mr. Mayor. This is just me asking council to officially accept the grant deeds as presented in the resolution and in your packet to officially take over the properties that formerly used to belong to Mr. Juarez. Nicholas, did I miss anything?
No, I don't believe so. Are you able to hear me okay right now?
Yes. If you have anything, if you go ahead, if you have anything to add, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, no, so thank you for your time, everyone. I apologize that I don't have an audio feed, or excuse me, a video feed right now. My circumstances are somewhat limited, but I appreciate you bearing with me. I think Dustin gave a good summary. This is essentially, as you said, somewhat of a victory lap. Mr. Juarez has signed officially the grant deeds deeding these 4 properties over to the city of Weed, and this resolution is essentially just the city's formal acceptance of those deeds, which is required by the California government code. So with the passage of this resolution, the city would be able to formally become title holders of record for these properties, and the city will then be able to use these properties for whatever beneficial use the city sees fit.
That's it for me, Mr. Mayor.
Have staff and our council, do we have any public comment on that?
If I may, I love this resolution, just something for joy. I would like to make a motion as this, to introduce a resolution of the city council of the city of Weed accepting the surrender of parcels of real property at assessors parcel numbers. I need to read all of those. I'll leave the numbers off record. Or there's 4 parcel numbers. I'll leave that motion at that. So I'll listen. You want me to read every?
No.
Yes. That's be fun.
The only question I have is there a fiscal impact to insurance by taking on these 4 properties?
We will have to, oh, good.
Go ahead.
Yes, we will have to add these to our insurance for the time that we own them.
We have a number on that?
I don't
No.
think it's included, I apologize.
When was we getting numbers?
I'm sorry?
He wants to know when you're gonna have a number for increase in insurance liability for the 4 parcels.
I can call and make that happen tomorrow.
I guess the better question is Joe, we have funds before? What were?
Yeah, enough unsafely to talk about.
We're gonna cover it. But I don't know how long we're gonna be covering, but that's.
Radio land is. Producing insurance license. No.
Right, that motion to take back our meeting.
Thank you.
We have a motion, a second. Do we have any other questions or discussion amongst council? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
1000% aye.
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 Any opposed?
Once.
All right, motion carries. Now we're moving on to item B, Administration of Public Works. By motion, council will consider resolution number 08/2026. Approving change orders from Waikiki Restoration to City Hall remediation.
Mr. Mayor, permission to speak?
Of course.
First I want to point out that I did not Jill has reworked the numbers for us. And I did need to disclose to council that I didn't have a couple of the invoices in my email box, so my numbers were a little short. So Jill did put in your packet an updated copy with the additional invoices too. So the number did go up from my original email that I sent you. But nonetheless, with or without these numbers, she also included the roof in the total that she gave you in your packet. But this is the number that she presented is the current amount, including what we have before you. To get City Hall, at least the remediation of the mold and the water damage, completely done.
Questions or discussion for public comment? If there be questions or discussion amongst council?
Do we have a projected completion date? Yes.
So the painter will be up here next week. We'll try to be, depends on the storm. And then same with the electrician to go in and reinstall all the lighting. Once that is completed, I will be getting a janitorial service in there to go ahead and clean up. And then we still have to put everything back into offices and stuff like that. So it's still good. We're still good a couple weeks out at least.
At least 30 days we done?
Yes, I hope so.
Well, so I want to, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I wanted to interject real quick. I have also instructed Chris to, before we invite our staff to come back into City Hall, I would like FACS, I don't remember the acronym, I'm sorry, but the company that's doing our testing for us. I would like him to come before council to present their final results and publicly declare that that staff is safe to go back into City Hall and to answer any questions you may have about the testing and about the final work that's been done. So that way I felt more comfortable doing it that way, you know, to have a public discussion about it. So that way we can all feel assured that our staff is safe. So that might postpone inviting people back until they can come talk to council is why I wanted to bring that up. If that's all right with y'all.
Good.
Well, Jill, I want to thank you for giving us a summary of all the expenses. Honestly, the total for both the remediation and the roof was just right around what we expected for the roof alone, so.
I do have one thing to add that we just were informed about within the last few days. USDA RD has come through with more funding. We originally, and this has been several months ago, but we originally applied for $220,000 for the roofing project. So it will cover, it's not gonna cover it all, but it will cover a portion of that. Good news.
Right.
And we got additional funding that does not pertain to City Hall that we can talk about. But later.
Job.
That's
Awesome. That's excellent news. Thank you for all the work, staff getting that done, and the good news on getting it yet another grant to go for infrastructure. So I'm excited. I for one am excited about coming back to City Hall to a safe, clean environment and seeing a finished remodel. I've been taking a look at things as it goes along, and
He made a room for you.
so this looks really good. So do we have any other questions or comments? I do have one more question for Director Davis. When we move to the electrical rewiring with Base Engineering and whoever, you know, we go through on that bid, will there be any need to do any repairs to construction, or do you think they'll be able to pull wire through walls?
No, they should be able to pull wires, all the electricals underneath City Hall. So they should be able to pull Mars.
Perfect. That was my only concern, and I'm glad that you've already alleviated that, so.
Any update about the solar panels?
That's a good question. Do we have any update on solar panels at this point, or are we still waiting for Pace to?
No, still waiting on, Pace for me, for them to give me an answer right now. That department is pretty slammed, so it's been pretty slow going, but I'll go ahead and look on that.
Were we absolutely determined under warranty?
Yes, they're not under warranty, they only had a 1-year warranty on them.
Well, it's on my to-do list to also, I've got the contract and it's in my box. I will get you an update when I finish evaluating that. It is on my list of to-dos.
So right now, the one at City Hall, either isn't, this doesn't work.
It does not work at all. And the panels are outdated. We have looked into when the first panel first blew off, we did look into getting it replaced, and we were told we can't be doing that. That's the biggest problem with solar panels. They're outdated within just a couple of years.
So it's one reason why would you buy it, but. Sounded like a nice toy, yeah. Didn't work out so well. When we do, how is the heating and air system? Are they gonna be more impactful as far as, or are they still kind of?
They'll be more impactful, we're getting blown in, the installation was actually blown in today. And then more installation will be added, as there were removing walls, there was already installation in a lot of the outer walls that they removed. They did replace it with new installation as they're going along.
I don't know if this is not scientific by any stretch, City Council, but it is nice to walk through the halls and not be freezing. So whatever insulation they've added, it has made a huge difference.
And I have one more thing to add while we're talking about the city hall. We are moving forward. We spoke with the AT&T tech person yesterday. The wiring's all good. It's Cat5 wiring. I don't really understand that, but he said this is perfect. He's glad we're out of there. He said this is perfect timing. He's gonna be in, they've already ordered, so we're gonna have voice over internet, a whole new phone system. We have a very antiquated system that's been there forever. It's gonna be an entirely new phone system, and he's getting in there and getting all that done while we're not in there. That is also happening as planned, so. kind of excited
And
about that.
I went ahead and signed off on that because our phones are, one of the biggest things I would like to improve on is our service delivery. And a lot of times people call in and they've had a lot of issues reaching our staff. And when I receive calls on my phone, I don't even use my city phone because it's too rickety. Like, so people can't leave a message with me unless they call my cell phone. So I just think in terms of service delivery, I thought it was a good idea to go ahead and push that forward along with everything else while we got it going up.
It was
It
also,
was with,
I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you, Justin. I thought you were done.
I'm done. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to know from Joe, what do you think about going back to this new building?
I think it's gonna be great.
Excellent.
Yeah, but the phone system was. It was within Dr. Shabazz approval.
Yes.
Threshold, so it wasn't anything that needed to come before council. But surprisingly, it wasn't nearly as expensive as we might have thought it would have been. So.
Thank you for that, Jill.
Excellent.
With all that being said,
I move to,
here you go.
I move to adopt resolution 08-2026 approving the change order with the restoration of the city hall remediation.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we'll now move on to staff reports, and we'll start with Chief Carter.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, last month we ran 63 calls, 2 full-time personnel. Still have 7 resident firefighters and 2 volunteer firefighters. And 2 volunteer company officers. We have over 100 hours of training. Completed 3 fire and life safety inspections. The requests for proposals have been posted for our fuel mitigation project. And I was involved in 2 bid proposal field visits today. They were very well attended by potential contractors. That was good. Our interviews to fill our open FEMA lieutenant recruitment and retention position are scheduled for February 18th. And you may have seen some of the fuel mitigation work on the hillside project there by the tank south of the elementary school. That project has started. They did stop yesterday because the rain was a little too muddy, but they got equipment up there and they're hoping for a couple of weeks to be done with that project, obviously weather dependent. That's all I have.
It's only a 16-inch round, so it's easy for me to put down.
Right in the road.
Very fulfilled.
So, big news, Jamie has been working really hard this week with our last piece of our conversion, which is the utility billing and cash receiving. Which not happy that Springbrook has drug it out this long. But I am very happy that we are finally gonna be fully converted over to Springbrook. So that's big news for us. Starting with February, I'll no longer have to be balancing in 2 different software systems, so that's good news. And thanks to Jamie for all of her hard work, and she had a birthday this week, so she spent her birthday working on conversion. And the other big news that we wanted to share with you is along with the funds from USDA RD for 220,000. We also got an additional 1.9 million that's going to be, we haven't designated, Chris can speak some more on this, but we haven't designated what exactly we're gonna use that on, but it's gonna be designated for the Lincoln Heights area and making improvements out there. And that's all I got.
Into birthday. You know what I mean, right? I mean, a few months ago, it was like, where the hell are we gonna come up with this? And now it's pieces are falling together.
Thank you. Jordan Davis.
Yeah, so what we'll be looking at is really just repaving, especially on the west side of 97. And then we'll be looking at it adding some curb and gutter. Curb and gutter is gonna be a little bit interesting due to our easement. We don't have much room on that side. So we might be having to work with a couple property owners to make it work. As far as public works goes, we've been dealing with sewer lately, found some concrete in a sewer manhole that was creating sewer flow, still not quite sure on how it got there. And then we've been busy cleaning up our shop, getting that all cleaned up and more presentable to the public. It's not said.
Chief Favorite.
We ran 615 calls for service last month, 1,724 total incidents, 44 cases, made 20 arrests. We had 1 officer to leave for another agency, but we were able to have a former officer come back and work, fill the sergeant spots and open for some time. Tim Green, really excited about that. The officer that's tested in this community, both professionally and personally. So I'm very glad to see him return. We are still trying to actively fill 2 positions. We're running down 2 still. We're also still trying to fill our dispatcher positions, which remain open. That's been becoming a difficult process for those positions. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
As chief, what's the comparison for dispatchers for City of Lee versus San Francisco?
I'd have to look into it, but, just off the top of my head, they're being offered, to some of them, I mean, I would almost say significant, they're offered some incentives that we don't normally require staff to receive. Same way with officers. I'll say it's difficult to keep people when you're offering more money and you're expected to do less work. I expect my employees to earn some of the paycheck. So that's becoming a problem. The other agency, we last two have gone to agency who are not expected to put in as much time or effort, I should say, and make more money.
I will say that it's noticeable in some of the communities around the county that less effort required with more money, that they have less service after it beat. So as someone who lives here as a member of the community, greatly appreciate the amount of work that we in this department and the rest of the city staff do. So we local people are seeing that and appreciating it. It's good work to be.
Just a reminder, if you have not done your, completed your Form 700. You do have until April, but so if you don't do it, then I just get to say it again next month. You did yours, yes. They do have to be done online. We cannot do a paper form, so you do have to log into your portal. If you don't remember your login password, you do have to contact FPPC. I have zero access to that program as far as any password recovery. So please make sure you get those done, because the fines unfortunately get to go to you. They don't go to the city. They go to you for not filing them. Also, I had one other thing, just as a friendly reminder, when we do adjourn to closed session. If you could give staff about 5 minutes to vacate the premises. City Manager Stambot and City Attorney Anderson will stay via Zoom. They'll be able to hear you. The other Zoom link for Nick has been cut off. So, yes, you will remain in here. Chief Carter will be in here as well with you. But yeah, if you could just give us a few minutes to get out, and then we'll lock the door behind us so nobody.
We can just turn our chairs.
You can just turn your chairs, yeah, yep.
Thank you. City Attorney McKenzie.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
And City Manager Dr. Stambaugh.
Well, first off, I was told you congratulated me on my graduation, so thank you for that. I didn't hear it, unfortunately, but thank you for that. I just wanted to say I'm really happy with all the staff. For today's shout out that I didn't include in my letter to council yesterday is the finance staff has been working really hard on this conversion. I don't know if any of you have done accounting. I know you business owners have, so it's not fun when you're doing two different sets of books and then trying to reconcile it. So Jill has had to put in a lot of extra time and work to make it work for the last year, while Springbrook has been getting up to speed, so to speak. So I want to thank her and the ladies in the finance department for the work they do. And you know, y'all have spoiled me with a wonderful staff. Sandy, with the coordination that you've done to make this stuff happen. The police department with the low crime rates, that was an influence when I was looking at houses here, so I can attest to that from a personal perspective. And Chris, all the work you and your guys have been doing, you know, I have been asking a lot of them and they have delivered, and I appreciate it. And the fire department, he got all the mastication going on all between the county and the city. Just the team effort that we're doing to mitigate the fire to hopefully not have the same stuff happen again. And on that note, I do have a tabletop exercise that I have scheduled the staff and the public, the community leaders, for a tabletop exercise for emergency planning purposes. We'll have our first one on the 23rd of February. I'm pretty excited about that. As you all know that I've talked to you in passing, I will also be doing a round table where I'm going to expand collaboration to all the community stakeholders, portraits of words, community members and leaders who want to participate. I really think that's the key to figuring out where we can take weed next to get an accurate barometer of what they want from us. So I'm gonna probably schedule that sometime in April. I also wanted to comment on the listening session that the mayor and I had. We only had a total of, I think, 7 people. But it wasn't a bad conversation. It was a good first step, and if the mayor's willing, I'd like to do it every 2 months. That I got positive feedback. I noticed the YouTube video congratulating us for reaching out to citizens. All of you are welcome to participate. Just let me know so I can post it. But thank you all for everything. Thank you for having me here. It's a blessing to be here, and and staff, thank you for everything you do. Moving forward. Mayor, I'm done. Thank you.
And in case there's not a whole lot of overlap with our 7 YouTube viewers tonight, only have please come to our listening session in April. We'll definitely want to get more feedback from the community as we move forward with marketing efforts and revitalization efforts. All right, well, with that, take the vote to adjourn the closed session.
I move to adjourn the closed session.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we are so adjourned.